G'day mate, are you here for the tour? Let's get into it. I'm Brad.
And I'm Harry. We won the green card lottery, sold everything in Australia and moved to America.
We bought a truck and a repossessed camper and hit the road. We're exploring every corner of the USA to find our new home.
This is our great American adventure. Join us for the wild ride.
Welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining us for this long overdue van tour. First, we're going to jump into a quick look at the vehicle. So it's a 2019 Ford F250. It's a gas. We've got the long wheelbase version, as you can see. It's also got the long tray. And with that, we've got the space cab here. So we've got the normal door at the front, and we've got the suicide so-called door at the back here. We keep some of our possessions, things like the water, our shoes, hose, power cable, just bits and pieces that don't really have a spot to go in the van. So it's really handy. We'd recommend strongly to have something with the space cab or maybe a dual cab. All right, with that done, let's take a look at the camper. It's a HS8801 by Palomino. It's a full aluminium frame with a composite fiberglass here. That's what gives us its nice smooth sides, as you can see. Also easy to clean and maintain and keeps the weight down. Now, in terms of the features on this side, the first thing you'll see is the big awning. That's a crown awning. It's operated from the inside, so you've got a switch in and out. And as we've learnt, you've got to make sure you tie it down every single time you use it. The next thing you'll notice here is the jacks. So the jacks are how we lift it up and down. We'll show you more about that another time. And from here going along, we've got the two speakers up the top there. That's obviously we can play sound from the inside to the out or vice versa. You can change that by the controls inside. And you've got these big windows. The windows are just single pane. They're not dual pane unlike some of the real top end campers, but they work pretty well for what they are. Then moving along, we've got the vent for the fridge. That's powered by this propane here. So you can see there's dual propane and automatic switching at the back, which is quite useful. So you can run it right down till it's empty and it will switch from tank to tank all by itself. We also keep a couple of things that don't really fit anywhere inside the van. And below here is just a little bit of a storage hatch. There's no, or you can basically see inside, it's not built out or anything. So yeah, it's not really of any use. Moving around to the back. So it's a bit dusty back here, but we've been on some dirt roads. Anyway, the couple of things on the back, we've got this checkerboard, obviously the stones and that flicking up, but don't think it really does that much. The lights, they plug into the car. There's those and all along the top there. And this one here, or you can put in another number plate if you really like. The other thing you've got pretty wide is there's a spot for a camera. We haven't got one of those or set it up. We just go careful when reversing. Other major things, obviously the door's quite useful. It can be split into two. So you can just put that back, you just leave it there like so. It's just like a friction hold. You can use the screen, vice versa. That works really well. No problems there. And there's also a shade inside here that you can pull up or down. Also, you've got a handle that goes out the back. And the other thing we've got is some stairs that you usually go down here, which we've taken off for now. The final thing up there, as you can see that just come on, is there's a little sensor light which is controlled on the inside. This also works really well. The other thing that we've done, which was a bit of a decision, was the tailgate. The tailgate we originally had off. It looks good with it off, but we wanted to take the tailgate with us, and it works out that it only hangs out about 1 foot off the back there, which has been really good. So getting in and out, if it's wet or anything, we can just jump up here, get our shoes off and go in. Now the final thing, or final couple of things here, are the sewer hose, which is great. It stores outside the van. You can leave it open on the side here to let it air out and dry, which works really well. And then you've got this ladder here. The ladder just gets you up onto the roof, which we'll go and have a look at now. All right, so the first thing about the roof, the whole roof itself is a vinyl, so it's got, I think underneath is aluminium and then some sort of timber and then a vinyl liner. That's very common for RVs here. I think it seems to work pretty well. We haven't had any leaks so far, which is good. And then right in front of me here, we've got a few things. We've got an antenna, something we don't use because we don't have a TV. We've got the air conditioner here. Again, we don't use it that much because we're usually off grid, but useful to have. Then from there, got these hatches, fan hatches, work super well, help get all the heat out the van, blow it out. And then across here, we've got the solar panel. Believe it or not, this is just a 100-watt solar panel. Basically is enough power for what we need. There might be the odd exception where we need a little bit more power, but amazingly enough, 100 watts is about all we seem to use, especially within the sunny conditions like this. And that just feeds in the wires to the back there. It's positioned up there to keep it away from all the shadows, basically. Moving down to the rear, we have more vents. So this vent is for the fridge. It lets out obviously any hot air, anything out the back of the fridge, and also the fridge has a fan, so it helps circulate the air around when it gets hot. The plug you can see there for the solar, that all came fitted pre-done. Another vent, so that helps you get the circulation through. You can see they use plenty of silicone so you don't get any leaks. This is a skylight for the toilet. Let slide into the bathroom, that works quite well. Just added a little bit of silicone on there, it was leaking a bit. And the final parts are the fan for the toilet and bathroom, and then this is the vent for the toilet and bathroom here. So yeah, and the other cool thing is that obviously we can walk on the roof. How easy is that? If you've got a problem, you can come up here and have a look. All right, now onto the other side. The first thing we've got here is our hot water system. It's tankless. It's fully gas, so it's quite a small unit. It doesn't have to hold water, so it's quite economical to heat just the water you need. So that's been awesome. The next thing below us here is the grey water system. If we lift that hatch, you'll be able to take a look. There's the main black, or the main one up the top here for the black tank. That obviously allows you to release it, and also the grey tank is in a separate release. That works quite well, no problems at all. Then moving on, there's a little outdoor shower, which is great if you want to strip off and have a shower outdoors. It's good fun. Use that. It's got hot water as well, so that's been really good. The next thing here, we've got the vent for the hot water, not the hot water, the heater, the gas furnace. So that, yeah, that just lets out any of the, well, basically the exhaust for that. Next, we have these 110 outlet volts, normal power outlets, something we don't use too much on this side. The cable and satellite TV, again something we don't use too much. Up here, if you take a look, that's the vent for the range hood, so that lets out all the air from cooking and anything like that. This is the power input, so that's a 30 amp. You can see it's a different style of plug, quite a decent thick cable. Again, not something we use that much because we're mainly off grid, but useful when you do. The next thing is the city water connection. The city water connection is if we're in an RV park, that allows you to plug in and not have to use the pump for the RV, so that works well. And the final part here is the fresh water tank. So you can fill it via that, just via a normal hose, so that also works pretty well. Okay, so the final part is how do we tie the truck camper, or the camper onto the truck? We've got these things called torque lifts. Now the torque lifts themselves, the tie downs, they wind up, so you just twist them. That puts a load, like a spring load, onto the van so it doesn't move around. Quite easy, takes about a couple of minutes each to put them on. And then if we look down here are the frame mounts. These actually screw onto the frame of the car, which is super strong, and then they come out and you can extend them out however far you need them. So there's 4 in total, 2 on the front, 2 on the back. And now let's head inside and take a look what it looks like.
Okay, moving inside. First off, to my right, down the bottom here, is we have a fire extinguisher. I really hope we never have to use that. We haven't yet, fingers crossed. And then down on my left here is we have a remote and some controls. This is for our automatic jacks. So they hook into the batteries. We just use these buttons, it lowers all 4 jacks, and once the camp is lifted up enough, the truck can actually drive forward and we can leave the camper at a campsite and use the truck to drive around town. Then on my right is we have our Dometic gas fridge. It's a great fridge. Every time we move, like drive somewhere and stop and open this thing, we have to be careful to make sure nothing has fallen. I'm gonna fall on the ground. Decently sized fridge for 2 people, no complaints from us. Really keeps us going probably a full week of groceries we can get with this thing. And it's got a little freezer section up there, which is great. Great. And then above me is we have that hatch Brad was mentioning on the roof. So it opens all the way out like that. It's also got a fan built in. We don't use this one because it is noisy. We use the one up the other end because it's a lot more quieter. And then on my left is we've got the wet bath. It's got this neat little hatch here to keep the door from moving and swinging open while we drive, and magnetized. So in here we've got a toilet, a shower, we've got our laundry, basin, storage, and a mirror. I'll just show you for size what it's like. I'm 6 foot, so we would come in here and...
What's that smell?
What's that smell? Brad says. No smell, it smells lovely like roses and flowers. Yep, and then the headroom, it's actually, the skylight is like sort of like a little cutout, so you get a bit more room with your head, and then you can shower down. And then underneath me, this black thing is where the drain is. So it goes into the grey tank, and this obviously goes into the blank tank because it's sewage. Okay, moving into the living and kitchen area, our open plan home. Up here on my left, your right, is the convenience center. So here we can check the status of the batteries, how charged they are. Our fresh water, it is low, we'll need to fill that up. Our black water, which is our sewage, and our grey water. Here we've got a few things like our water pump, our porch light, the sensor light out the back, our awning light, and so this is how we would control the awning from the inside. Moving further in, we've obviously got our seating area with our table, comfy couch, leather couch, and the table swivels so you can easily get around. What this also does is this actually comes off and can convert into a bed, so it's a jackknife. So if we ever wanted to have a guest over, anyone want to come stay with us, let us know, hit us up. We'll get some sheets on this thing, and you can have quite a squished and uncomfortable sleep. And then underneath, when you have the table off and the stem that it goes onto, there's a hook here, release, and there's a tiny bit more storage. So usually we'll just store all our spare shoes that we're not using, like our runners, sneakers, thongs, things like that. Next to the couch are 2 little storage areas in here and back behind there. And then above the couch is we have more storage up here. I don't know, this is probably really messy, so we're not gonna spend too much time in here. But always nice to have heaps of storage. And then obviously our towers, which we installed hooks for. Okay, moving on to the opposite side of the living room is we have our pantry. Hopefully nothing's gonna fall. That was close, that melon. I would have hated that if that exploded. Decently sized pantry for 2 people. We have no problems with this at all. Just below that is we have our gas furnace heater, which is controlled by this thermostat, which we installed ourselves. This is just a Honeywell. The one that came stock standard with the camper wasn't very good. You couldn't fine tune the temperature. So that's well worth it, I'd recommend. Next we have our microwave, which you can only use when you're plugged into power. Like Brad said, is we free camp a lot, so we can't use this. We probably could if we got a inverter, but we're not going to worry about it for now. But it's great when we're in a campground to heating up food. Below that we've got our range hood, and then we've got a 3-burner stove, which we use every day, and it just broke. I'll have to fix that. The screw just fell out. I'll fix that in a bit. And then below that is we have our oven, which we do use a lot, and it is great for full-time living. When we're not using it, we just use it for storage, putting things in there. Moving to the right is we've got our nice big sink, which I'm a fan of. I love it. Brad hates it because it's too big. He thinks it's a waste of water. We've got our bin, which is mounted to this wall here. We put that in ourselves. Great size, and we got it from Temu before the tariff, so always a win. Below that is we have some more storage, which never say no to more storage. And then just above that is we have our instant hot water controller, so you can turn it on, off, and set the temperature, how hot you want the water. Okay, and then moving on, under this seat here, also a step up to the bed, is we have a lot of goodies. So to get in there, you just simply lift that couch up a little bit, lift this up, and then pull it out. And if Brad comes a little closer, you'll see that's actually where our fresh water tank is. So that's 70 litres just here. Next to that, we've got more batteries that we got off Temu. The one that came with the camper was a lead acid, which was completely useless. I don't even know why they put them in here. So those two batteries total 200 amp hours, which is plenty for us. We've never had a problem with our solar panel on the roof. And then just to the right of that, over in the corner here, is we have our DC to DC charger. So if we do ever have a problem with charging them and there's no sunlight or the solar stops working, we can charge it off the car when it's running. So looking above my head, obviously we've got some lights, and I love these lights. You turn them off by just pressing the button in the middle and turn them on. Love them. Next to that is we've got our air conditioner, which Brad mentioned, on the roof of the camper. Again, you can only use it when we're plugged into power at a campground. They won't run off the batteries, and if they did, I'm pretty sure it would drain them really quickly. So we don't use it. Anyway, let's get on the bed. Okay, so above me is we have another hatch, which has a ginormous fan, which we love because it is so quiet, and it's got 4 speeds. Can't hear it. It's great. Great for when we're sleeping and it's hot. Okay, and then just over here we have our infotainment area. This is where the TV would go. Didn't come with one, and we've got no plans of putting one in. Just, we don't watch much TV. We've got our other devices, so that's fine. We've got our tiny little 300 watt inverter that we got on Amazon. Powers everything we need it to power. We don't really need a bigger one unless we want it to power the microwave. We've got our stereo system, which hooks into the speakers. We've got 2 up by the bed, 2 by the living sitting area, and 2 outside. And you can change where the music's playing, which is really good. And then a little cubby hole here where I just throw everything when I can't be bothered putting it away. So it's an absolute mess. Moving up to beside the bed, we've got some storage. So on my side, I've got 2 cupboard drawers, enough space for me. I'm a minimalist, don't have much stuff. On Brad's side, same thing, but then he's got 2 cupboards there because he's got more stuff than me. We've got our 2 windows, one behind me, one in front of me with our blinds. And we've also got more charging stations up the front by our bed, and 2 little lights which are touch activated. And then above the bed is we have a huge window which we don't use because it radiates too much heat. So we've actually put in some sort of insulation behind this blind. So we forego that, we don't use that, but it's fine with us. Okay, so that's the end of our tour of our tiny little home on wheels, which we'll be living in for the next roughly 12 months. We'll see, depends when the money runs out. Might have to go get a job. But it's big enough for us. It's what we need it for. We can travel around. We're not too big like some of the RVs that you see. It's a good size for us. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content so far, and we'll see you in the next video.
G'day mate, are you here for the tour? Let's get into it.